preacher man. Yeah, he shines bright light on everybody and sings his song. He said to look out for one another. He knows how deep inside we're all the same. It's about love. Love one another like love for your sister, love for your brother. Love. You know what I'm talking about, sing along. It's about love. Love one another like love for your sister, love for your brother. It's about love. Oh, and hear my song.
All right. Welcome to Tribulation 515 2011, my friends. We have reached day 835. Today is Tuesday, August 27th, 2013. It was a glorious day out here in San Jose. It is currently 77 degrees out. And the two big stories in the news are Cyrus and Syria, my friends. And of course, Egypt comes in a close second as well. But if you haven't been following it, you know, the world seems to be spiraling downwards into chaos, and we seem to be continually lowering the bar as far as what we expect as far as our social norms of society. But the VMAs, the Video Music Awards on MTV, Miley Cyrus came out dancing in this little silver corset number with a bunch of big furry teddy bears, and I'll tell you what, people will do anything for attention or to get some viewers. They'll put something stupid on their head, like I think this is Ren from Ren and Stimpy. But she danced around for a few minutes with the teddy bears and whatnot, doing what you call twerking, which kind of, has a lot of sexual innuendo in it. And then this other rapper, Robin Thicke, came out and joined her, and she pulled off the corset to be wearing like a flesh-colored, skin-tight bathing suit, which pretty much made her look naked. And she had a foam finger, and she was, kind of tickling Robin Thicke in his private areas and dancing very suggestively. But to make a long story short, it kind of shocked the world, but on MTV, that's kind of the norm. Madonna did it, Lady Gaga did it, but the problem they got is that MTV, the ratings for the show was PG-17, or no, actually it wasn't even PG-17. They had it rated so that little kids, 13, 14, 10 years old would be watching it. And with the way that the various acts went on that night, they should have had it at least PG-17. So there's some talk that MTV might be sued for pushing child pornography or, explicit pictures to minors. But without a doubt, whether it's Hollywood or MTV, our schools, we're constantly lowering the moral bar to where it's just about scraping the bottom, and that's not good, my friends. So, that's what everybody's been talking about is Miley Cyrus, and of course, she was the Disney superstar who was the star of the show Hannah Montana. That show is still in syndication on the Disney website, and there are, probably 10 years, a generation or more of young girls who idolize and follow Miley Cyrus. So Disney is all a fluster, because they don't know what to do about it, because it just totally is not the image they want to portray. Over on Operation End Times, I have cracked open the Jobs as in Steve Jobs and Job series, and I just did part 3 talking about Steve Jobs. So you might want to check that out. Lots of interesting things. Steve wanted to change the world, and the world, without a doubt, is changing, my friends. The Star of David, the double Star of David alignment that appeared on July 22nd, Pi Day, and ended yesterday, 8/26, known as the War Star. Today's the 27th, and, they say we are 3 days away from launching missiles at Syria, my friends. And they're saying they will rain missiles down on Syria for 3 days, starting Thursday. So, a very prophetic star, So Syria, Bashar Assad using chemical weapons, weapons of mass destruction on his own people. Our beloved president, Barack Obama, he drew a red line in the sand. He said, even though Assad has killed over 100,000 people, he's been using normal bullets, so I can't do nothing about it. But you know what? If he drops chemicals on his people, then there can be no doubt that he is an evil person. And then I'll do something. And he thought that day would never come, but it came. About 3 weeks ago, Assad started gassing his people, and Obama came out and hum and hawed and said, we got to make absolutely certain, which is kind of his way of saying, I'm not going to do nothing until the last possible moment. But 3 weeks later, with many, many, many more people dead, there can be no doubt. So as of today, the vice president, his press secretary, Jay Carney, they all said, yeah, Assad is using chemical weapons. So now Obama has put himself into a corner. The reputation of the United States being a beacon of light is at stake, because if we don't stand up for liberty, justice, and be good guys, then there are no good guys in the world. Egypt, of course, is a complete mess. Both Egypt and Syria, Steve Jobs was a Syrian, I mentioned that in the video over at Operation End Times. I'm going to go a little deeper into that in part 4, which is coming up real soon. But, there's no good options in Syria and Egypt because on one side you've got the military dictatorships, Assad, and in Egypt it was Mubarak. He then got ousted, and Obama made Mubarak leave office, but then Morsi came in, the Muslim Brotherhood, and he was even more wicked and more evil, but Obama didn't make him leave office. The Egyptian people had to take care of that themselves, and actually the military did a coup and kicked him out of office and imprisoned him, but our president wouldn't even acknowledge that, and then they released Mubarak. Why? Because he was part of the military establishment, so, he's now out of jail. But in Syria, it's the same thing, the military dictatorship, and then you have 5 different groups of radicalized Muslims, Hamas, Al-Qaeda, the People's Liberation Front, etc., etc., etc. But it's evil fighting evil, and there's no good options as far as whose side to take. And no matter who does what, more innocent people are undoubtedly going to be killed. Men, women, and children. And of course, Iran is right on the sidelines, chomping at the bits like a war dog. And they have said, hey, if Assyria is attacked, they will launch an immediate strike on Israel. So, my friends, we may be on the cusp of World War III. Only time will tell. Just looking at various other things, if this is your first time to this channel, this is my personal witness and testimony to the tribulation and end times that is literally unfolding right in front of my very eyes. Most people live in bubbleized, hedged-in existences, and they don't see any farther than their bubble, so they think nothing's going on at all. But whether it is the geopolitical situation, the global financial situation, the ecosystem of the globe, of the earth, or the solar system itself, the sun, there are signs everywhere, gamma ray bursts everywhere, comets, floods, hurricanes, you name it, apocalyptic weather and apocalyptic events. There's the sinkhole down in Louisiana that is growing by the minute and threatens to explode. It's a salt mine. And by Lake Erie, there's also a salt mine that is being contaminated. We've been having all these horrific crimes. We had the Zimmerman trial, which everybody said was a miscarriage of justice. Since then, we had an Australian college student, Chris Lane. That's almost like the Christ. Lane is a path, the Christ path. He was 22. 22 is the number of Jesus, the master architect. All the numbers are adding up, all the spiritual stuff. But he was beaten to death by a couple of black guys, and I think there was even a white guy in on it. And it doesn't matter, because it isn't about race. It's just about lowering the moral high bar, that these kids have no parents, no examples, nothing restraining them from just doing whatever their evil imaginations desire. And then, of course, there was Shorty, the 88. There's that number, 88. 88 is 4 times 22, But he was beaten to death for kicks with flashlights by a couple of guys. And, our beloved President Barack Obama, has he said even one word about that? No. You know, when it's a black person getting killed, he'd be the first one to say the police are corrupt or, you know, it's racial. But when it's black people killing black people or black people killing white people, he doesn't say a darn thing. And that's why our country is a boiling pot. It's never, the race relationships have never been worse, you know. It's the us, they. And that's all Obama does is point fingers. Usually it's at the Republicans. He's always saying they, you know. But that's why that song I opened up with is It's All About Love. It was written and produced by a friend of mine, Jack Grossman. He plays in the Johnny Lima band here in the Bay Area, but he's forming his own brand new band called Bound by Blood. But Jack, you know, he was my co-producer in the days that I was doing the television show Eye to Eye. He's a good guy, and it's an awesome song. I'm going to kind of play the tail end of the song as we wrap up the video today. But a big shout out to Jack, and if you're in the Bay Area and you get a chance, check out Bound by Blood. You know, I saw a bunch of other stuff, but, you know, the thing about taxing sugar, there's tons of methane being released, volcanoes are blowing up everywhere, and flooding in Russia and China has reached apocalyptic levels, the worst in 120 years. And that's funny, my friends, because that was the time frame that God gave Noah, and mankind was 120 years to get their acts together, or else he would destroy them, you know, and it almost looks like that's what's happening right now. You know, globally, the stock market's taking a nosedive. They don't like any of this is happening. We got a new Federal Reserve chairman coming in. You know, the printing of all the funny money may stop. Interest rates look like they're going to rise. So, you know, the financial horizon looks kind of gloomy as well, my friends. So, that's kind of what's going on locally here in San Jose. You know, there's been, I think, some really cool stuff going on. You know, I think the finger of God is here in San Jose, my friends. You know, my homeless buddy Tony died, and I just met this other cat, Kevin, you know. So, you know, God just keeps putting people into my path, man. So I continually keep, you know, just hoping that I'm a flask up to the task, and someday maybe a mighty flagon ready to slay a dragon, you know. And I was talking over on Operation End Times of how Steve Jobs was a giant killer, a dragon slayer, you know, but he was also a giant and a dragon himself, you know. But we're all brothers, we're all sisters and brothers, you know. It doesn't matter what your skin color is, black, white, yellow, red, we're all the same underneath. You know, the only thing that separates us is what's within us. You know, whether you've got the light of God and the truth and love and mercy and compassion of God as the driving force living within you, or whether you are a shadow person, a dark person, and you're fueled by your own imagination, your own will, your own desires. And that, my friends, is what has corrupted the world we're living in. Every single system there is, from banking to education to government to, yes, big business, you know. And that high tower of fake power is about to come tumbling down. And a new paradigm is going to rise up in its place. And it's going to be glorious, my friends. There's nothing to fear at all. You know. All right. Hey, this is Tribulation 515, 2011. You know, think positive. You know, manifest fruit, which is do nice things, you know, help a person who's, you know, needs help, you know, feed the hungry, comfort the weak, you know. Don't enslave yourself to the powers that be, you know. There's nothing to be gained, you know. Make sure your mind's right, you know, what you value. Because when the tornado comes, or the flood, or the hurricane, and everything that you valued in life, your house, your car, you know, your 401k, all of that disappears, all you got left is just yourself, and if you're walking with God, you got God, and that's all you're going to need. Alright, you know, there's probably a bunch more stuff I could have dug into. I just wanted to kind of get a video up there today, a little tribulation update. 9/11, the anniversary, is right around the corner. Labor Day's coming up. I'm going to be camping up in Reno with my family, my brothers, and I'm looking forward to enjoying that to having some rest and quiet. So if all hell breaks loose over Labor Day, I'll be up in Reno at some mountain stream, just kicking back, enjoying Mother Nature, my family and friends, and God. All right, hey, bless you all. Take care. And this is It's All About Love. The solution to this world is not going to come from mankind, a better healthcare program. No, it's going to come from inside, from our hearts, if we learn to love one another before it's too late. There's still hope, my friends. For your brother.
You know what I'm talking about, sing my song. It's about love, love one another like love for your sister and love for your brother. It's about love, come and sing my song. It's about love, it's about love, it's about love.
Love's what stopped the shooter at that school the other day. That 9/11 operator showed some compassion, some understanding, and averted disaster. And that, my friends, is the big picture. It's about love. Love conquers all. It's about love, my friends. Take care.